Well, good afternoon. I put a solid 4 hours into this guy this morning, and last night I was able to wrap up my connector for the integration harness. So he's down. You see him down there? Right there. Yep. Plugged in. Ready to rock. This guy, once the fender well's in, I'll push it all down and tie it in. Grab some brake lines or whatever to try to get it tidied up. We got one fuel line. I missed a barb for the other end, so the supply line's gonna sit like that until I get a barb for it. Those things didn't want to come off very well, so I think there's enough friction it shouldn't blow itself off with the lift pump. Down inside the fender well, we've got a somewhat nice looking route here. Those are my fuel lines heading up to the filter. Brand new filter on that guy. Power steering cooler comes across and back into the abyss. That's my ground. So I got one line up, and then the return line comes down and back, meets up with the pressure line, and then I got to splice them down. The pressure's still, I never took him apart, but the return, I'm gonna put a barb in him down low, and then a couple clamps. My old pressure switch is coming up nicely. So it looks messy, but it cleaned up a lot, and hopefully I can do the same with the top side once it's all put together. And then we can move on from there. I got my glow plug wire. He's brought over. I think he might actually splice into just the battery cable. I'll just put my fuse right there and be good. My coolant temp sensor is right there, the plug for him. He pops out of the loom and then just plugs right in. My glow plug signal's right there on the fuse. It tucks into this loom as well and goes back into that fuse block through the integration plug. The starter wire was too short, so I had to put him on his own plug here. So it'll be fine. The 6.5 was actually a heavier wire than the Duramax, so that's kind of cool. I shouldn't have any issues with overheating or anything there. I gotta grab all the ground straps off the old truck though. This truck kind of had poor grounding, so I want to make sure that the cab's grounded to the engine really well, and that the batteries, I'll put straps over to the core support and the fender. I think my headlights are pretty dim, and I think the root cause of that was bad grounds. So we're going to alleviate that this go around. And this side here is closing in on finished up. So as soon as I get that return fuel line done, I got my 4-wheel drive harness there that's going to go underneath too. And then once I crawl out, I'll stick this fender well in, jam a battery in it, and move on to the passenger side. So moving right along, another 5 hours or so, we'll be sitting pretty good, I think. So I'll give you another update here in a little bit once that shiny pipe is hanging on the side of the engine. Also, I checked him. There's no rag in the intercooler, and I already checked the other side, but make sure you don't leave rags in pipes. That'd be bad. So till then, I'll catch you on the other side. Okay, so this side took a lot longer than I thought. Everything pretty much fought me. But the battery's in. This guy doesn't fit down beside there anymore, so he's just going to hang out on top with the zip tie, and the hood will hold him down. This is a mess, but it is what it is. It's going to be like that until, I don't know, maybe I'll redo the brake lines someday and then make that not a mess, as long as that clears the hood. We'll get some zip ties on that though to hold it all tight. We got just enough clearance here that I think it's gonna be okay. Maybe I'll stick something in there, not sure yet. Or if I cut one of these shorter, it'll pull it in, and then that won't be a problem either. We're getting there. I just want to hear this thing run, okay? This side's though, he's done. I bought this guy for when I put the winch bumper on. I'm gonna figure out a way to fish wires up to the bumper from here. But yeah, this was a lot of work and a lot of time. I got a full day just in putting this fender back together. But everything's in, everything fits, and I'm pretty happy with it all. I started a little bit on this side till I ran out of parts, which is pretty fast because I didn't have hardly any hose here. But this guy here goes to the coolant bottle. So I'm going to use this one here from the 6.5, I think. I did learn that that's 5/8 the hose for the heater box. And the other one is down low. He's also 5/8. One of those is 5/8, one of those is 3/4. So I got an adapter. If you use Shark Bite, 1 inch by 3/4 fits 5/8 to 3/4 hose, or 5/8. Where's it at? Yeah, 1 inch by 3/4 will bring you down to 3/4 by 5/8 hose. So that's my adapter for that. This guy, I have to extend him to reach here. They don't have 1 inch hose, but they have this rad hose. This is the part number for it. Gates 22217. And that guy is going to go right here and tie those together. So I got, after I went to O'Reilly's, then I went to Ace and bought a bunch of barbs and hose clamps and shit so that I can barb all this stuff together. And then as soon as I'm done with that, I think I'm going to tidy up my battery cables and try a start on this bad boy. Before I do much more, I want to see this thing run, make sure it's not leaking a crazy amount of oil, anything like that, because I did beat that housing pretty good up. So we'll do that, run it for a little bit, and then shut it off, fill it up with coolant, run it again, make sure there's no coolant leaks. And if it seems okay, then we'll go ahead and toss this fender well in. So kind of a busy night, but if I get on it, I think I ought to hear this thing run at least once tonight. And I bought beer for the celebration, because that was the criteria. Hear this bad boy start. Exciting times are among us. I got both batteries hooked up and nothing smoking. No immediate, more short of the regular sparks. Nothing crazy except for, welding the ratchet to the bracket right here. But that's okay. Check this out. For the first time in a month, in 4 months, in a long time, we got lights in the cab. I still got to swap the oil filter out, so I'm going to do that before I turn the key on in case it goes straight to crank. But we're getting somewhere. There's no coolant in it yet. We're going to fire it up, make sure it starts, make sure it shuts off, and then we'll fill her up with coolant in case something catastrophic and I got to take it all back out. So hang tight, I'll swap that out and we'll go from there. Well, this here is the moment of truth. I got the key on. I just bled the fuel system. Go ahead, shut her back off. Wait. Yeah, so that's tied into the... So glow plug light works with the glow plugs. That's pretty cool. Transmission's in neutral. Hey, we don't have attack. We got oil pressure. Fuck yeah, she's a runner. Woo, doggy. We got smoke rolling off something over here. Uh-oh. My glow plug harness is smoking a little bit. Whew, that's hot. That stud might be a little bit loose. We'll have to adjust that, I think. I don't know why it stalled. That could be air in the system though. One more time. I'll go try to bleed the system again. Alright, hang tight. Yeah, I think I figured it out pretty promptly. There's a ton of air in that thing, so now it seems to be a lot better. First time I cracked it, she went right to being okay. There's full fuel coming out. This thing's all fucked up. We're gonna have to start using a wrench. Anyhow, so that's what was going on there. We'll go ahead and let her run again for a minute or so. Long enough that we can actually check our oil pressure gauge and make sure that it's okay. Here she goes. I think I grabbed the wrong signal for the tach. It's quiet. How much oil pressure are we making? Fucking all of it. Yeesh. Just pegged. Glow plugs are on again, that's odd. Duramac know best. The smoke rolling off it. It ain't hot no more. Sweet. Okay, that's all. Well, she's been idling for, I don't know, a half hour or so. And it's just now starting to build a little bit of heat. The upper hose is still cold, but the heater core is not. I checked my gauge, and it looks like it's registering on the gauge. It used to be below 160, so I think that works. The clutch won't disengage. I gotta figure that out. I don't know if it's just drag or if it's actually got an issue. So tomorrow, when it's not full of carbon monoxide underneath the truck, I'll go and inspect that line, make sure it's not leaking. It'd be a big bummer if it still leaks. I had it in gear once, and then after that it just kept trying to spin the drive shaft. There's no oil in the tranny, but I wanted to run this thing long enough. I put one slug of water in before I started mixing 50-50. So I kind of want to circulate that and try to get that water mixed up since it's down in the single digits. And if I get some heat in the block, that'll help a lot too. So I was hoping to get the thermostats to open up, but I think that's going to take like 3 hours to happen. Hopefully it mixed enough not to freeze. And it's best I can put the block heater on it, but that just seems kind of stupid. I got one pulley squeaking, which I kind of knew those needed replaced. No fuel leaks, no coolant leaks. It's smooth and quiet. It's kind of nice. You can actually hear yourself around it, unlike the 6.5. Yeah, pretty pleased with how this is turning out. Oh, that guy's just riding on the pulley. That's not great. So, yeah, I earned this guy. We put an abrupt end to dry January for having a runner. Half the headlights are out. That's because I don't have the ground hooked up. So tomorrow, I guess I'll finish buttoning up the engine and getting it all together. I'll throw the drive shaft in it, and then we'll try and get the clutch to disengage, and hopefully that goes okay, because that would really suck to be this far into it and not have a clutch. Just hoping to drive it tomorrow, so I got a lot of work ahead of me. It's 11 o'clock right now, so I'll catch you in the morning. Well guys, it is month 5 on a 4-month project, and I present you a downpipe. Got her tacked together right now. We'll go under, show you how it fits, and then I'll show you what I did. Hopefully this is the last day of the project. I got the clutch pedal wedged right now, and we're checking for leaks. It's been probably a half hour or so. I'll go under once the pipe's done, make sure that thing's not leaking in the transmission, and then try to figure out why the clutch isn't coming out. Like I said, I got it in gear once last night, and then nothing spun, and then the second time I tried, it spun the drive shaft. So that was a little rowdy, because the drive shafts, see it over there behind the tire? It started spinning on the ground. Not super great. I'm sure that U-joint might have got a little dirty, but it'll be alright. We'll go under there and show you what we got. Might be a little hard to see, but there's the pipe heading back. And then up here, you got the turbo flange. So, the 6.5 pipe is really long. This is a Diamond Eye 4-inch kit for the 6.5. So, I cut it way down, took one of the bends out of it. And it's kind of got a funky bend right here. Just the way it fit. I don't know. Bad camera angles, but it fits. It's going to be good enough, and it probably won't leak that bad. So, that's all I'm really concerned about. I'll get this guy out of here. And on the transmission, you see this wet spot right here? That's been wet for a couple days now, and it hasn't dripped anymore. So I think that was from the first event. I'm going to stick my eyeball up inside of that inspection window and make sure there's no drips on any of the fittings. I'll go upstairs and check that side of the line, and then go back, weld that guy up solid, and move on. So here's how I built this pipe. Also, before I get into that, I just checked all my fittings, and they're all still dry. So we're going to continue to roll the dice on the clutch until it gives me a reason to take the tranny back apart. So, not important right now. We're going to pretend it still works. Here's all the crap I cut out of my downpipe. This is a really nice pipe, actually. So there's a little bend right there. It was in between these two. I think it went something like that. And it had, I don't know, it had a ton of jogs and kicks in it. But better than the original factory one that kind of looks like it got smashed. Helpful hint on cutting pipe square. This is just a band clamp I found, the only thing that fit. Usually I'll take a hose clamp. I had those guys ready, and tighten it down so it stays true. Throw them on there. Squeeze on them, wobble them a little bit, and then it'll get you a nice square thing. Trace it, and then you can cut it with the angle grinder and get a nice edge. This guy up. Here's the cut after I was done with it. Not too bad for a hose clamp and an angle grinder. A little tight there, a little loose here, but hey, I can fill those in. I got a welder. So we'll go ahead, weld this up, stick it on there, and then maybe this summer I'll paint it with some high temp paint, because I ain't doing that today. Alright, we'll catch you when the fender's together. Some fucking people put in months worth of hard work to do everything right, and still patch the hole in the cab with fiberglass. It is that time of day, folks. I looked it up, and they specified GL4. So I guess GL5 has this stuff in it that corrodes synchros. So I put this stuff in. I read 4 to 5 quarts. We'll toss 4 in it and see what happens. I think I figured out why my tack doesn't work. Never plugged the computer back in. So we'll go ahead and do that while we're in here. Also, we got this happening outside. We got inner fender wellage. The stock intake's on the way. I got that guy here for now. He ought to work. Hopefully it clears the hood. Battery tray. I used one of the Duramax ones and just got a piece of angle iron for the backside to work as a big flange, and then a bolt down through the fender. 6.5 coolant tank, and it wasn't super exciting. It just kind of went together. I'm getting ready to start it up, so while it's warming up, I'm gonna depin that connector for the throttle and stuff it through the firewall where the throttle cable used to go, and hopefully that doesn't give me too much grief. I think it's in the back corner there, so let's see how that goes. And short of that, things are moving along. We're gonna be running this bad boy before the end of the day. I just gotta toss the oil in it, drive shaft in it, tires, and maybe a hood and a front clip, and then we're done. Well, as I'm walking over to install the throttle pedal, I realized I didn't take a single video on the throttle pedal. But based on what it looks like, you can pretty much tell what I did. The pedal in my hand is from the original 95.65. I cut it off. I cut the Duramax pedal off. I cut the bottom of the Duramax foot off that bolts to the firewall. And then that steel plate came off the 6.5 pedal. So I pretty much just removed the old 6.5 sensor and then welded this guy in place just about where the 6.5 sensor would be, and then welded my pedal back onto it, and it looks like it sits in a pretty good spot in here. So hang on one sec, I'll bring you in with bolts. So here's what we ended up with. It looks like it might be a little bit high in terms of pedal height, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. Full throttle is down just off the floor, but whenever you rock the pedal, you know, kind of hard to see. Probably could have made it a little bit lower, and if I really hate it, I may. But well, folks, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't have my own two eyes to see it. But guess what? Moved under its own fucking power tonight. Fuck yeah. I might drive it to work tomorrow out of excitement, but I gotta go for a ride tonight first to make sure everything seems okay. Hell yeah.